starts on the service line to get things going. She's earned a litany of starts over the past 2 months due to the aforementioned Gator injuries. We're officially underway in Columbia. Janet Demaray gets it started, and it's dug back over the top by McKissick. Whistle and a violation. First point goes to the Tigers on contact at the net. It's a Florida program that's won 5 consecutive matches against these Tigers. Janet Demaray did not play against Florida last season. On that right side, there's Martin going right at Sands.
Not surprising to see Florida going to Kennedy Martin right off the bat, and we are already going to be seeing just that explosiveness and power that she brings to the match.
4.3 kills per set leads the conference, 5.1 points per set, second in the conference. Iliff keeps it afloat. Dudley flips it over the top. Through the middle. Martin again. Laser beam that's handled by Dudley. Demaray off the block and down.
There, Missouri's just battling in that point. They were able to get a touch up on Kennedy Martin's swing, even though it was out of system, had an option in the back row to go to. So that's going to be huge for them tonight, just trying to in any way slow down Kennedy Martin's swing, even if it isn't the best of digs, just keeping those balls alive.
We mentioned Delara Getty-Cola being honored on senior night. Lauren Forbes gets another service chance. The other senior on this Tiger program being honored this evening.
Senior night is such a special night as a player, knowing that it's going to be your last time playing in front of your home crowd. Could just be such a fun time, so exciting, lots of memories being made.
Trinity Adams. A little bit long on the serve. These are 2 of the best in the conference in terms of service aces against conference foes. Florida program number 3 in service aces per set in conference play, behind Missouri at number 2. Arkansas leads the pack. Jordan Iliff goes at the block. Oh, off a deflection, it gets down.
Such a good job by Essex identifying that Jordan Iliff was in the back row and it was an option. She is something that Missouri goes to quite frequently out of the back row, so really great job of Essex identifying that and getting lined up on her.
Essex, one of the elite middle blockers in the conference, top 10 in blocks per set in both conference and overall play. Getty-Cola goes at the block and registers her first kill of the match.
Here we can take a look at Delara Getty-Cola doing such a good job of swinging off that outside hand of Kennedy Muff, using that block to her advantage.
Getty-Cola through congestion, a little bit long of the serve. What happened there?
Good avoidance movements by Kennedy Martin. You could see she was going behind in that serve receive rotation and just barely dodges this serve.
Playing dodgeball, Kennedy Martin.
Athleticism on full display in many ways.
Demaray off the set. Was that deflected? No. The strike went a bit long, and Florida's got the lead.
That time, Janet Demaray again trying to hit those high hands, tool the Florida block. Coach Sullivan talked about just how much height and physicality Florida has from a blocking perspective, that they're going to want to try to challenge those hands high, hit high, to avoid getting stuffed.
Demaray went with velocity her last attempt, this little serve shot. Dudley, a joust at the top. Demaray again runs into the Twin Towers of both Muff and Essex. It's kept alive. Adams keeps it afloat. Point goes to Mizzou on the drive that went long.
Phenomenal coverage of these blocks on both sides of the net. We can take a look here at Adams doing a good job of digging that ball. But then on the Missouri side, they kept several balls alive, which allowed them to stick in that rally and eventually had that unforced error.
Eisenberg with the hammer. Morgan Eisenberg makes her presence known.
That is going to be such a key component. Missouri serving aggressive, getting Florida out of system so that they can have opportunities such as that one.
Ali McKissick on the set. Sophia Victoria shows off the muscles.
What a swing by Sophia Victoria. That ball was incredibly out of system, but it did not matter to her. You can see she times this so well. The ball's coming over her shoulder, but she's still able to pull this ball down the line right in front of Jordan Iliff.
Puerto Rican national teamer, her senior season in Gainesville this year. 7 kills in her career against the Tigers entering tonight. Eisenberg again runs into the block. And the Gators are back up 1.
Florida's block has been incredibly effective already early on in this first set. They are sealing the net really, really nicely against these Missouri swings.
Nadie Okamore and Victoria combined for that last block. Demaray into the block again, and it's down. Florida's got its first multi-point lead of this first set.
Again, Nadie Okamore identifying that ball is going to be pushed out to Janet Demaray. She closes so nicely as soon as she sees that her middle attacker is no longer in the play. She closes that block, takes that same shot away.
Serve gets the line. It's a paint job on that back end. And Emily Cannon's got her 17th ace of the year.
Cannon did such a great job of placing that ball right on that end line out of the reach of Maya Sands.
Sophomore out of Texas. Demaray to end the run. McKissick with the dig, one of the best in Florida history in digs. Martin goes long on the attempts. Something you'll see with Kennedy Martin throughout the match and throughout the remainder of the season. High volume of kills, higher volume of usage. It's been the case in this first set. Victoria again runs into both Eisenberg and Iliff. Martin into the block.
Morgan Eisenberg does such a good job of identifying where Kennedy Martin is, and then Jordan Iliff also dropping in, closing this block. They see she is a back row attack option. All 3 blockers were up, ready to take away that space, trying to limit the area that Kennedy Martin can attack.
Dudley long on the serve. That snaps a 2-0 scoring run for the home side. We talked about Kennedy Martin, one of the phenomenal freshman attackers. You can't talk about freshman phenoms in the SEC without mentioning Sierra Dudley in that same vein. Now a knuckleball falls. And another service ace for this Florida side. That one goes to Kennedy Muff.
Florida's Kennedy Muff doing such a good job. See how this ball just lands and floats right onto that end line. Missouri's was in a 2-passer rotation. Now they've pulled back Janet Demaray to be 3 passers as Florida's been serving so aggressively.
Demaray gets a deflection.
Janet Demaray gets that kill, but a huge component of that play was that her team was in system. There was a good serve receive pass, allowed Sierra Dudley to have all of her options available, which makes it tougher on the blocking and defensive side of things.
It's been one of the constants, as is that this year. Demaray with another ace on a low line drive that just got over.
Take a look at how Janet Demaray just paints this line. It's just out of reach of Cannon. Just does such a great job of placing that ball.
Demaray had 3 service aces in the win against Auburn this past Sunday. Missouri program that's vying for a 5-match win streak. Haven't done so since the end of 2020. Victoria elevates it. It's a bit long, just wide of the shot.
There, Janet Demaray didn't necessarily get an ace, but she got that ball out of system enough that it just disrupted the Florida offense kind of causing that unforced error.
Victoria on the attempt. Dudley potentially play the ball out of play. Iliff shoots it out of play. The Gators are back up 1. Don Sullivan's got the card out in the. And it is a deflection. Point Mizzou. Possibly a momentum shifting overturn in the midway point of this first set. Demaray back on the service line. Victoria. Dudley keeps it afloat. Down the middle, Okamore was turned back. Eisenberg with the velocity. Victoria again. Demaray keeps it alive. And a whistle for a double touch. Point goes to the Gators.
Such good defense on both sides of the net, playing really, really scrappy volleyball. It's hard when those balls get knocked up and you just have to react there. Morgan Eisenberg just got her hands on that ball because it was flying at her face. Really, really hard to make a clean touch on that.
And it's a 4-0 Tiger scoring run. Number 4, Victoria on the line. Mizzou's number 4, Iliff, pounds one off the touch. Another point for the Tigers, and they're back up 1.
Jordan Iliff seeing the court really, really nicely again on that one. Out of system ball, was smart and decided to hit for high hands rather than trying to cut that ball down into the seam of Florida's big block.
Okamore. Iliff again. Runs into high hands. Kept alive. Naomi Franco meets Muff. Gedikola elevates and stuffed. Okamore goes up and meets her at the precipice.
Take a look at this defense from Kennedy Muff. She does such a phenomenal job sprawling out, keeping that ball alive, but then also keeping her body on her side of the net, but ultimately just a complete shutdown at the net by Okamore. Closed that block perfectly.
Okamore's origins were stuffing shots in the basketball court. Now she's stuffing shots at the net in the volleyball Terraflex. Martin keeps it alive. Ball that nearly touched the court. A joust at the net. Net violation, point Tigers.
Phenomenal defense. They're keeping that ball alive. The pancake by AC Fitzpatrick, absolutely amazing. We're seeing a lot of hustle and effort on the Florida side of the net.
McKissick on the dig. Flip back over the top by Gabrielle Essex.
That ball can be so tough to defend. We see she's in the air. She just tips this one back behind the block with a little bit of velocity. Kind of a roll shot. Can be really, really tough to keep your eye on and identify where that ball's going to go when she's not taking a full out swing.
Martin shows off the tool case with the service ace. And Florida's back out to a 1-point lead. Block shots. She and Gabrielle Essex forming the Twin Towers in net front. Delara Gedikola goes up and towers it down.
There, Gedikola finds a way to work around that block that was set up. Kennedy Muff was set up, but she swung down the line.
One transfer going at another. A pair of grad students with their first respective teams. Mary Wise. Since a 3-match losing skid ended against Kentucky earlier in the month. Calls confirmed, point remains with the Tigers, so Mary Wise in Florida has one remaining challenge unless we play a 5th set. Also a chance for the Gators to potentially talk things over. That challenge utilized as an additional timeout in this first set. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, challenges serve so many different purposes. They can just give you a second to take a breath, talk about what you're seeing on the other side of the net, regardless of if you win or lose that call.
Nicola slices it wide. We're leveled back at 16. Ellie McKissick, one of the all-time greats in a Florida uniform. Number 2 all-time in digs. Top 25 in Florida history and career aces. Demaray, touch shot over. Victoria goes down to dig it out. Martin with the finesse.
So smart there by Martin to identify that all of Missouri's defenders are pulled back deeper, waiting for her to take that big shot. And she has 3 blockers up, so she has that entire short court open, wide open. She sees that and executes.
How often do you see that type of an awareness from a freshman?
It is rare. You would never guess that she's a freshman by looking at her style of play and just the variety of shots that she has.
Demaray runs into a block. Gabby Essex goes up with the vertical. Timeout. Lime green? I'm not sure about the lime green. I don't know how he's doing it. It's pretty hot as well. Florida's continuing to heat up 3 points. Large part of that, the serve receive. Iliff shows off some of the heat and knocks down another kill.
Huge kill there by Jordan Iliff. Just does a really, really good job of hitting so high here, even though she's coming from the back row, identifying that she has that space down the line to try to challenge Ellie McKissick.
Largest lead for either side, 4 points. On the slide, Essex shows off the termination skills.
Muff and Essex connecting so well here. You can see there's a slide swing. Essex is running behind Muff off of 1 foot, but they're also pushing the tempo there, so it made it really difficult for Missouri's block to get up in front of them early.
Service ace. Just dropped in front of Nicola, and Florida back up 4.
Kanan seeing the court so well, identifying those gaps in between passers, spreading them out, making it really, really tough.
For Kanan, that's her second service ace. Make it 3. Timeout. Markova from last season. Fresh young class with newcomers and transfers that have been perfectly implemented by Mary Wise and this Florida staff.
Obviously, you hate to see injuries at any point in time, but this really showcases how good, like I said, the depth that they have, but then also the coaching that they're able to bring in these players that might not have had those bigger roles earlier on, that have been able to step up to the plate.
On the slide, another kill and a finish for Okamore.
Okamore doing such a good job running behind Kennedy Muff. They have such a good connection here. You can see the block is very late trying to close over the net. She's already swinging before they're getting those hands pressed over.
Kanan's got 3 service aces. Eisenberg runs into congestion. Victoria off the block. Point Mizzou. She meant both Dudley and Eisenberg.
There, Missouri getting a lot more of a stable block setup. They're pressed over early before Victoria was taking that swing, which led to a lot of success.
Martin with the hammer. Thunderous finish.
That is so tough to stop when you have a player that can hit at that height from the back row. Just listen to that ball as she's contacting it. You can hear the power she's putting behind it, both off the contact of her hand, but then also as it's hitting the floor.
I feel bad for the ball. Gotta feel bad for it again off the deflection. Point goes to Florida, and the Gators are at set point.
Again, Florida's block just being so incredible tonight. Their Victoria was one-on-one and still took away such big space.
Iliff. McKissick digs it out. Iliff again, off deflections and down. That ends the run, and that keeps Mizzou alive in this first set.
Love that decision by Dudley to go back-to-back to Iliff there. Shows the trust and confidence that she has that she's going to be able to put that ball away and score.
Victoria gets that back line. Clip the edge, and Florida takes the first set. Florida and Mizzou traded punches in the first set. The Gators showed off the muscles to close that first set. CC, it's Mary Wise really setting that standard of excellence in the conference.
You cannot talk about the greats of volleyball without including Coach Mary Wise in that discussion. She has just laid such an incredible foundation with this Florida program and built a culture on excellence.
Demaray lays a possible foundation for Mizzou to start the second set. But Riley, with coaching and with the new types of transfer portal rules that we have now, how impressive is that to see someone of that long of a tenure at one school to have this much continued success?
Oh, it is so impressive. Coach Mary Wise has just been able to establish such a incredible culture, has the history to back it up, the experience. You can tell that she really just invests so much in her players and develops them over time that they have just had that continued success that we saw examining her entire resume.
Gedikola on the serve, off deflections. Point goes to Florida on some congestion at the net fronts.
They're calling Vinny just getting a little bit anxious, apprehensive, goes for that ball. It has to cross the plane of the net before she can attack it. So she attacked it a little bit early there, which resulted in that Florida point.
Sophia Victoria, 2 kills in that first set. Demaray elevates. Victoria drops down to keep the rally going. Finney on the slide, stuffed. Fitzpatrick and Okamore make their presence felt. Kennedy Martin unleashes the load and gets the block.
Such a good job of Missouri staying in this rally, but ultimately when you give a free ball, a ball like that over to Florida when they have the option of Kennedy Martin, it's so tough to stop.
Demaray goes cross court and goes at Victoria for another kill.
Really good job of handling that ball there by Janet Demaray. It was a little bit out of system, but again, she just saw the court, had that awareness of the shot that she had, handled that ball really nicely.
Down the middle, Okamore, lunging stop Iliff. Demaray runs into traffic.
Again, Okamore just closing to that outside pin so nicely, takes away any kind of hard seam shot that I think Janet Demaray might have been going for. Such a good pickup there, but ultimately only had one option, so Okamore could go out and commit to the outside.
Iliff from the back line, paints the corner.
There, Missouri being a little bit more in system. They have all of their options. Dudley decides to go behind. You can see that block isn't fully formed against Jordan Iliff, which opened up that court for her to take the swing.
The Mizzou lefties got 4 kills. AC Fitzpatrick goes at Iliff and Eisenberg. Talk about new faces. Fitzpatrick, not exactly a new face, a transfer from Penn State, her second year in Gainesville this year, but adding that extra layer of depth for a Florida team that's lost a ton as we approach the tail end of this year. Martin pounds it into the net. Point Mizzou on the service error. Four combined service errors for both clubs. That was the first on Florida a moment ago. On the slide, Essex is turned away.
Delara Getty-Cola tracked that ball so nicely. She identified that Essex was going behind the setter and lined up really well.
Mizzou head coach Don Sullivan talked about how Getty-Cola is able to see everything over the course of her career. She's also seen Janet Demeray take strides in her second year in Como.
Demeray has been applying a lot of pressure from the service line, whether it's getting those aces, but then also taking the Florida passers out of system, which helps out her defense so much.
Largest lead for Mizzou at any point tonight has been 4 points. Martin serves it over the top.
Again, Kennedy Martin seeing the floor, identifying that she has a triple block up. The defenders are pulled back deeper for her swings, which opens up that entire area of the court in front of the 10-foot line. It can be really tough for defenders to react when that ball's coming from such a high vantage point.
Eilif's touch shot. On the run, Essex gets the slide. Violation at the net, and a point goes to the Gators. Mizzou has had chances, Riley, throughout the first set, now the early stages of the second, but the experience as well on this Gator side, not allowing him to get completely out of reach.
Florida's done a really good job of controlling the game, keeping Missouri out of systems, such as we're seeing in this play right here. A little bit of miscommunication there, but they've just been doing such a good job of maintaining that pressure despite what's going on in the rally, taking care of small balls, controlling and applying that service pressure.
Volley on the dig goes out of play, and Florida's leveled it back up at 7. Here's McKissick. Getty-Cola elevates, scorched a bit long.
And there we can see the impact of having that established block up. She has all 4 hands pressing over the net, so Getty-Cola is trying to avoid cut around that block, which forced her to hit that ball out of bounds.
Getty-Cola again down the line and a bit wide.
Once again, Florida have to hit around them, which is causing a little bit of trouble and causing quite a few errors that we've been seeing.
Low line drive serve from McKissick. Getty-Cola with the second chance. Does not let it go as a moot point.
Such a fiery swing there by Delara Getty-Cola. She, unconventional situation where you have that block touch that sets you up to be able to get that kill.
Lauren Forbes back on the service line for the second time. Victoria keeps it afloat, and Forbes has her first ace of the evening.
Lauren Forbes does such a good job of coming in this service specialist role, of putting in a clean, flat serve that just skates right off of the Florida passers.
Martin from the back row continues to create trouble and continues to keep Florida within striking distance whenever Mizzou goes on the run.
Kennedy Martin has been almost automatic out of the back row here today, whether she's taking a swing such as that one or just tipping the ball right over that triple block.
Emily Canad has been a problem for Mizzou when she's on that service line. 3 aces for the sophomore. Sands flips a free ball back over to prevent it from being 4. Martin Lets it rip a bit wide of Dudley.
Rare error there by Kennedy Martin. We do not see that happen very often, so Missouri going to have to capitalize, utilize that error to try to get something going here.
It's a tad over 290 over the course of the season entering tonight. It's at a high volume of chances. Another chance for Florida to go back up multiple points after the Iliff service error. Here's Muff, Division II transfer out of Flagler College. Gedikola skirts the free ball over. Martin again runs into trouble. Gedikola on her senior night showing out.
Take a look here at Delara Gedikola lining up so nicely against Kennedy Martin. See how her hands are already pressed over the net back into the court before she's taking that swing, and you can see she is fired up after that one, getting some love from coach.
Victoria unleashes the hammer. Gedikola is there. Stuff chance drops for Okamore. Nadie Okamore only had 2 kills against Alabama in Tuscaloosa this Sunday. She's been active this evening, both in the blocking game and at net front for kills. Demaray. Tight set. Demaray runs into traffic but tools the block to level us up at 12.
Huge save from Muff to keep that ball alive. Want to acknowledge that, but then ultimately Janet Demaray seeing that ball so nicely to use that block.
How do you adjust when you see those blocks from Florida, who they have made most of their money this year in blocks?
I think the biggest thing is controlling serve receive and small balls in transition to put your setter in a position where they have different options available, and then you just have to run a fast tempo offense to not allow those middle blockers to set up that double block. So if you're in system, the middle blockers can't guess, go out to one pin or the other. They have to stay true to their middle and wait, and then running a faster tempo offense will then not allow them to be able to get set up and close those blocks.
Iliff from the back row powers down another termination.
We can take a look here again just at how effective Jordan Iliff is from the back row. She just provides another offensive option for Missouri when they have their setter in the front row.
AC Fitzpatrick blasts it long, clamoring for a potential touch. Right now it's a 1-point Mizzou lead. We'll see if Mary Wise uses her challenge. She does. Deflections at the nets. Florida back up 1 with Martin on the serve line. Demaray cross court. McKissick goes down the meter. Fitzpatrick with a bit of a changeup puts the Gators up a pair.
Huge swing by Fitzpatrick, but McKissick controlling those digs so nicely to put Muff in the perfect situation to utilize whatever hitter that she's looking for.
One of the tops in Florida history, 1,500 career digs entering tonight. Adds to that total on the attempt from Iliff. Iliff again. Bit long and wide. McKissick watched it drift out of play.
You were just speaking on it, but Ellie McKissick is so incredible defensively, keeping balls alive. She just is so disciplined in lining up behind her blockers and trusting that they're going to take away the space that they do, which allows her to be in perfect positions to dig those balls.
Serve was in a perfect position for Martin. And for McKissick, how much of that is technique? How much of that is experience, being where she is?
I think a little bit of both, but then...
During this season, one of 4 non-Division I transfers to play for a top 25 D1 program. She's done just that with this Florida team, number 20 entering this weekend. Eiliff cross court and gets the corner.
There, Maya Sands adapting and identifying that Kennedy Martin had that tip shot out of the back row, so she was able to keep that alive to allow Jordan Eiliff to ultimately get that kill.
Match leader in kills. That was her 7th a moment ago. Demaray Long in the serve. Pretty similar spot from that first set where both teams really traded punches in the midway portion of that first set. Florida ended up going on a huge run to close set 1 up 7. Near that same territory in the second set. Getty Kola aims to change that with another kill.
Getty Kola providing that spark to her team, taking that big swing, identifying when she had that seam shot to go after.
Dawn Sullivan's talked about how she's elevated her game the last couple weeks, getting into that crunch time near the end of the regular season. Essex on the slide, kept alive by Adams. Getty Kola from the back row. Close set. And Colleen Finney checks in for the first time.
Such a good save there by Sierra Dudley, keeping that ball on her side of the net and feeding it to her middle, Colleen Finney. I think that's going to be a big component for Mizzou. If they can start to get their middles a little bit more involved in that offense, it will open things up for their pin hitters.
Martin runs into the block. Eiliff. Victoria's roll shot off Getty Kola and down.
Victoria mixing things up here, putting in a little bit more of a roll shot to that left front area, identifying that that's a spot that can sometimes be tough for those outside hitters to defend. Getty Kola kind of stabs an arm at it. Might have been better if she had let her back row players take that ball.
What makes that roll shot hard for outside hitters to defend?
It's tough when you're an outside and you're coming in defending, thinking about trying to first pick up those balls, but then you have to get out in transition and swing. So it's a lot to think about.
McKissick somehow keeps that alive. Martin meets Getty Kola. Victoria meets another kill.
Incredible fight on the Florida side here. Take a look at this play. Martin just gets an arm on it, and then ultimately McKissick is able to launch this ball back over the net, which keeps her team alive for Victoria to get that final kill.
Eiliff. Some miscommunication, and it drops for a Mizzou point.
McKissick gets her hands on that ball, keeps it alive, but it's really tough when the ball goes up to that left front position because your outside hitter is transitioning off the court. It's kind of like a dead zone for people to try to get to. It can be really tough to react.
Low line drive, joust at the net, and it's Getty Kola meeting another kill.
Getty Kola capitalizing on that situation where Jordan Eiliff got that overpass, put in a tough, aggressive serve. She gets up and she handles this ball so nicely with assertion.
Timeout taken by Mary Wise in Florida. Eiliff rockets it into the net. That's going to help Florida's cause.
Such a tough balance there where you're trying to put in a tough, aggressive serve to get a team like Florida out of system, but really have to balance those errors with that.
Dudley on the set. Eiliff. McKissick lofts it up top, and Martin shoots the free ball over. Getty Kola goes in the Twin Towers and goes for another kill.
Great job there of Mizzou capitalizing on this free ball play. Maya Sands put them in the perfect position, which made that middle have to hold on Colleen Finney, which opened up a little bit more space there for Getty Kola to take that swing.
Getty Kola's got 6 kills. 10-kill match against Auburn on Sunday. Just gets over the top. Martin was ready in position. Demaray in the right place at the right time.
There, Missouri speeding up the tempo of their offense a little bit more, which allowed Janet Demaray to be taking that swing while the block was still forming, which allowed her to skate that off of the block.
Martin with the finesse. Sands goes down to keep the play alive. McKissick on the free ball. Dudley the set. Demaray pushed it wide.
Great idea there by Janet Demaray of trying to throw that ball down the line. She identified that the right back defender had pulled up but just missed it wide.
Florida has gone to Victoria for Mizzou ending rallies. They go to Victoria on the service line. It's a service ace for Victoria.
Victoria really going after Janet Demaray here. As an outside hitter, it can be so tough to pass that ball first and then transition out to swing.
They go back at Demaray. Demaray runs into Martin. Martin goes cross court.
Take a look at this swing by Kennedy Martin. She pulls this ball down so quickly, just right inside of that Missouri middle block. Cuts it very nicely.
And she's put the Gators on the cusp of another set point. Roll shot into the nets. Just like the first set, Florida ends set number 2 on a run. Gators have won 8 straight sets. Looking for a straight set sweep when we return. Especially with a couple more matches remaining in the regular season schedule. See how much more do the Tigers have remaining in the tank, with the visiting side up 2 sets to none. Colleen Finney levels down the hammer. McKissick keeps it alive. Is unable to flip it back over.
Incredible hustle and grit there by McKissick. Even though she didn't get that ball up, it just shows how much fight and pursuit she has for her team, which then will bleed into the rest of their touches.
All 3 opening set points have gone to Mizzou. The big one, though, the points to close sets. Last ones have gone to Florida. AC Fitzpatrick. Eiliff keeps it alive. Kennedy Martin cross court, another finish.
Martin has such a strong swing there, and she contacts at such a high point that it can be really, really difficult to get your block set up and take away any area.
It's been the year of the freshman outside hitter in the SEC. Brooklyn DeLay in Kentucky, Journey Robinson down in Baton Rouge for LSU, and arguably the best one in conference, Kennedy Martin, Gainesville.
Lots of young talent in the Southeastern Conference right now. Really, really exciting, and will be fun to watch and see how they progress and grow.
Eisenberg is turned back on the block from Nadie Okamore.
Okamore does such a good job of identifying where those balls are going, but I do like that Missouri's trying to get their middles a little bit more involved. I think that will be key to trying to split up and open up some areas on the court.
McKissick goes right at Sands. On the set. Victoria touches it down past the diving Getty Kola.
Victoria, seeing the floor so nicely here, identifies that that right back defensive player is coming up for shorter tips, so it goes right over her head down to that line. Really, really tough to defend.
Showing off the toolbox with multiple ways to finish points. Demaray, roll shot, dug out. Down the middle, Okamore again shows off the vertical and shows off the touch.
Okamore with kind of the faster tip shot here. We can see such a good dig there. And then Muff putting Okamore in such a good spot. Love that she decides to go fast tempo to the middle here. Missouri's block was not lined up in any way, shape, or form.
McKissick long in the serve. Now, Riley, we've talked about all the middles, all the outside hitters really doing their part for Florida, but you get lost in the fray when you talk about Kennedy Muff. Remember, she's replacing last season's SEC Freshman of the Year in Alexis Stuckey at that center position. Has had the weight of her shoulders really been put to the test in her final year of eligibility, and she hasn't disappointed this Florida side.
She has stepped in and played such a critical role in this offense. It can be really, really tough to come in and play that center position. You are the one you're touching the ball every single play, putting these hitters in different situations, and Kennedy Muff has taken over so well. She runs such a fast tempo offense to her hitters. She's connecting really, really nicely with each and every one of them. So she has stepped into this role, embraced it, and really, really grown as a player and done such a great job.
Demaray runs into a block. And for Muff especially, coming from a Division II program, 4-time D2 starter, 3-time All-PBC first-teamer. Besides the change in classifications, what's the biggest change and difference from going from D1 to D2?
I would have to say the speed of play and really the physicality of the players that you're playing with. So she has adapted to the speed and intensity so nicely, but I think I would say probably a big contributing factor to that is just the level of play that Florida has in their gym practicing every single day. So even before Stuckey was injured, I'm sure she was getting exposed to the highest level of volleyball that you have. So she was able to catch up and come in and run this offense so seamlessly.
It's another Florida service ace. This time it's Trinity Adams checking in. 8 service aces for this Gators program. In the midst of a 4-0 scoring run early in set 3, that ends it with the service error. Demaray's had success on the service line, has also run into a couple errors over the last couple matches. He's really showed off the toolbox, playing 6 rotations. Close in at the net, it's a violation. Back-to-back points for the Tigers. Service error, and then that violation gets the home side within 4. What's the best way to build off of those? A service error on one side, and then on a close play at the net, an error or a violation?
I think just making sure that you put that next serve in, like we saw Janet Demaray do. Just put in a tough, aggressive serve. Don't let the other team off the hook with an error. Iliff
roll shot, kept alive. Martin touches a bit wide, but it was off a deflection. That ends back-to-back points being strung together by the Tigers.
If we take a look here, you can see, first of all, such a phenomenal dig by Adams, but then Muff having that identifying to go out to Martin. She sees the block so nicely and is able to swipe it off of their hands.
Iliff on the set, turned back off the block, point Mizzou.
There, I like that Jordan Iliff is challenging the blocks, identifying a situation where she sees they're not set up quite perfectly, so she can take that harder swing to deflect.
Forbes. Victoria, bit long. But Riley, going off of that last point you made about really gauging the way the blockers are set to put up a high velocity shot or a slower, less velocity shot, what's the biggest thing that you notice when you see those 2 shot selections take place?
If you can see that a blocker is drifting, so they're still moving in the air. They did not get stopped before going up and setting a solid block. That's one of the bigger things. So if their arms are still moving, trying to close at the last second, that's when they become a little bit more susceptible to getting tooled.
Low line drive just clips the top. Eiliff. Bit too much mustard, goes long. First two sets, it was Florida staying within striking distance. Now in this third set, it's Mizzou attempting to stay in striking distance to keep this match going past 3 sets. So Via Victoria. ABCA All-Southeast honorable mention a year ago. Long on the service try. For as good as both teams have been this year, Riley, on the service line, 12 combined aces today. That's the 12th error between both teams.
I think both teams really trying to be very aggressive in their serve and pass game, knowing that if the other team is in system, they have such good offensive weapons that it can be really tough to stop. So both of them trying to push the envelope a little bit more and more to take the other team out of system.
AC Fitzpatrick, little touch shot, and it's a bit long. Ellie McKissick ruled as a ball in play. It's a point for the Gators. 2 for 3 on challenges this evening. Well, we talked about service aces and the high proclivity for aces tonight. Emily Canaan has fit that mold. 3 aces on that service line, leads all players. Roll shot into the net.
It's tough. That's a ball that you want to keep in play. I know it's out of system, but just want to make sure that you keep that ball in the court to allow your team a second chance to try to continue fighting through the rally.
Second serve for Canaan in this third set. Finney on the slide. Runs into traffic, kept alive. Fitzpatrick goes at Sands, and AC Fitzpatrick stays hot to put the Gators up 5.
That they're applying, as Missouri has been historically a really, really good passing team during the season.
Emily Canaan's been a big part of the service prowess. 3. Delara Gedicola off deflections. Goes at both Okamore and Muff to keep the Tigers alive.
They're Gedicola doing a great job of hitting high hands, getting that deflection off the block. Those are going to be some of the adjustments that Missouri's offense needs to make when trying to challenge this big physical Florida block.
Gedicola digs out the attempt from Fitzpatrick. Martin, roll shot. Sands slides down to keep the play alive. Demaray sliced a bit wide.
Sands doing a much better job there of identifying when Martin's going to be tipping that ball out of the back row, adapting nicely to keep that ball alive. Her team wasn't able to get that point, but a really good adjustment being made defensively.
Finney on the slide, long of the attempts.
You can take a look here at Finney's swing, going for that deep corner shot, so close, but just misses long.
Colleen Finney, another first-year Tiger. Service goes into the net, a little bit low from Muff. 4 years at Clemson. Grew up less than 3 hours from the Clemson campus. Made her way out to SEC country in Como, and has been a big part of what the Tigers have been able to do well in what many would consider a surprising year. Martin touches a bit wide.
Here's an opportunity for Missouri to see if they can continue applying this service pressure, taking Florida out of system a little bit more to try to capitalize on those situations.
Muff on the bump set, Fitzpatrick. Demaray met by Martin, and Kennedy Martin gets the block.
Okamore able to release out and go close with Kennedy Martin here against Janet Demaray. Since Morgan Eisenberg hasn't been as active in the offense, she did not have to stay with her. She was able to just go automatically close out to Janet Demaray.
Gators are within 9 points of taking this in straight sets. McKissick slams it into the net to keep the Tigers afloat. One libero flips an error. The other libero, the other big part of this Mizzou offense. Sierra Dudley on the serve. And on the block, it's a point to the Gators. Trinity Adams has a service ace tonight. One of the 8 for UF. Demaray goes down, goes back up, meets McKissick, and Janet Demaray continues to attack the kill column. That's her 8th.
Such a good job of Janet Demaray here controlling the serve receive pass. She passes it really nicely and then quickly transitions out to that right side to take that big swing down the line. That can be such a tough thing to do when you're in charge of both passing and then swinging.
Martin runs into the block. One of the best in the conference, Morgan Eisenberg, makes her presence felt. This hit to an eye-popping percentage, both under 250. Mizzou held under 100. That'll help the hitting percentage. Gabrielle Essex spikes it down.
Again, great swing there by Essex, but then again, that makes Missouri's middle blocker have to stay with Essex and be unable to go release to either of the pins.
Martin long on the serve. And Mary Wise talked about Gabby Essex when she first signed with Florida. A bit of a unique story. First time she saw Essex play wasn't on a volleyball court. It was actually when Essex was at a Florida match. Essex mom introduced her to Coach Wise, then put her on the radar. Essex gets another kill. And Essex, similar to Nadie Okamore, more of a basketball background, didn't play organized volleyball until her 7th grade year of middle school. Earned the commit to Florida as a sophomore in high school, showcasing the athleticism that really translates over. Also doesn't hurt if you're towering over 6'3" to make that transition from basketball to volleyball. Demaray runs into traffic.
And we've seen Missouri continue to battle throughout this entire season, so I would not count them out of this match just yet. We have seen their grit and tenacity time and time again, especially when they're playing on their home court.
11-3 here at the Hearn Center. Dudley close set. Getty Cole a bit off target.
Again, just a situation where Sierra Dudley's a little bit out of system, which allowed that middle blocker to, again, release. Didn't put Getty Cola in the best spot to be able to make a good hittable shot.
Yeah, Riley, talk about how good Mizzou has been at home this year. You can make that same case for Florida on the road. 8-1 away from Gainesville entering today. Getty Cola shows off the velocity and goes straight at Adams. In terms of success on the road, what's the biggest thing for a team's complexion to be so successful away from home, especially in conference play?
I think just maintaining consistency and staying together and having that mental toughness to be able to block out whatever the atmosphere is that you're playing in.
AC Fitzpatrick goes at the block, tools it out of play. Florida's within 3 of taking this in 3 sets. Speaking of 3, Emily Canard's 3 service aces. She's back on that service line. Goes at number 3, Maya Sands. Fitzpatrick, touch shot, kept alive. McKissick meets Gedikola. Gedikola again through congestion. Able to knock it down through traffic.
Gedikola finding ways to score here. Love that she has the confidence, goes through this block and overpowers that defender. Really, really great job taking that big swing.
Dilara Gedikola's family from Turkey making their way to Como over the course of this weekend. Kennedy Muff flips it back over the top. It's got to be one of the more strenuous flight patterns, right? Coming from Turkey to Missouri, out of all places.
I would assume so, but it has to be so special that she has her family here supporting her in the stands.
One of the 2 seniors being honored on senior night, Gedikola and Lauren Forbes for this Mizzou team. AC Fitzpatrick. Close congestion at the net. Finney cross corner, dug out. Rally progressing here in Como. Fitzpatrick. Sands goes down. Demaray goes up. Whistle, and it's an into the net violation. Point to the Tigers.
Wow, what a rally. The defense on both sides just pursuing every single ball. Take a look at Maya Sands going into that cross-court shot, keeping the ball alive for her team to get that point. Just an incredible effort on both sides of the net.
They've both left it out there tonight. A Mizzou team that this year has exemplified the grit and the ability to not give up on plays. It's been something that's defined Florida volleyball over the past 2.5 decades. Fitzpatrick into the block of Eisenberg and Dudley.
There you can see Fitzpatrick trying to go for that hard shot into the seam, but Dudley and Eisenberg are lined up so nicely, taking that away.
Florida showcased the blocks tonight. Mizzou joining the block party as well. Fitzpatrick goes over the top of both Dudley and Eisenberg. And Demaray just scrapes it over the top. But Mizzou team that is still working and still has some stuff to show before the final NCAA tournament field is unveiled later in the month. Kennedy Martin has showed off the whole tool case today. She goes deeper into her kit. And the Gators are at match point.
So tough to defend a hitter that has so many different shots. You have to be ready for them to take the big swings, but then also know that you're going to have to read and react to maybe a tip or a roll shot such as that one, and it can be really, really tough to do, but Kennedy Martin executes at such a high level.
That ended the 3-0 scoring run. On the stuff. Martin goes down, and I lift. And Kennedy Martin ends the win streak. One of the top players and talents in the entire league. Her first match against the Tigers. And she picks up UF's first win in her career here in
रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो खोरी पाकर।
झूठ समान तो भतार तोर खाई रे, झूठ समान तो भतार तोर खाई रे, झूठ समान तो भतार तोर खाई रे। ना मिली मजा तो खूब गोरियाई रे, ना मिली मजा तो खूब गोरियाई रे। ढेर हमारा मिल हार जाई रे, तोरा जैसा ढेर हमारा मिल हार जाई रे, तोरा जैसा ढेर हमारा मिल हार जाई रे। झूठ समान तो भतार तोर खाई रे, झूठ समान तो भतार तोर खाई रे। भतार तोर भतार तोर भतार तोर खाई रे।
म्यूजिक बाय सुकेश राय।
झूठ समान तो भतार तोर खाई रे, केतन भतार लगे बनबे पवित्र, जान जाई सब तोरा का पावे भीतर, जान जाई सब तोरा का पावे भीतर। केतन भतार लगे बनबे पवित्र, जान जाई सब तोरा का पावे भीतर। सन जे बिहारी से ते करबे ना सगाई रे, सन जे बिहारी से ते करबे ना सगाई रे, ज्योति सुकेश जी से करबे ना सगाई रे। झूठ समान तो भतार तोर खाई रे, झूठ समान तो भतार तोर खाई रे।
सत्यम रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो खोरी पाकर।